In this video, I'm going to show you how you can animate your screenshots inside of Adobe Premiere Pro to create a really nice dynamic effect. So let's get into it. So once you've got your screenshot into Adobe Premiere Pro, as you can see, I've got mine on the timeline. It's sitting on video layer 1. To begin with, I'm going to start by creating some animation. So I'm going to go into the effects window, which is down here. And if you can't see that, then just go into window and make sure effects is enabled. Then we're just going to search for basic 3D and we'll drop that onto our clip. Now from here, we just want to scroll all the way to the beginning and we're just going to change the numbers here. So I'm just going to adjust the swivel and I'm also just going to adjust the tilt a little bit. So swivel is -10 and tilt is -3 in my example. Now I'm just going to pull the scale down a little bit so that it fits within the frame. And I'll create a new keyframe on position, scale, swivel, and tilt. Now I'm just going to scroll through to the end of that action and I'm just going to adjust the swivel. So we'll make that +10. I'm also going to decrease the scale a bit. And I can also play with the tilt just a touch as well. So now when we play this back, this is what we have. You can see instantly this looks more dynamic. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could fill the screen with this. So you could just delete what we've just done on the scale and you could fill the screen. And when you play that back with the swivel and the tilt keyframes, it creates a much more interesting effect. But I'm going to go for something a little bit different here. So next step is to drag that screenshot, that animated screenshot layer up onto video layer 2. So we'll drag that up to there. Then we'll go into our project tab. We'll go new item, black video. Press OK and drag that onto video layer 1. Now we'll go into effects and search for 4 color gradient. If you type in 4, it will pop up at the bottom. Now we'll drag that onto our black video. And from here, we're just going to go through and change all of the colors here. So essentially we're creating an animated gradient background. So we'll go to color 1 and I'm going to make this a nice purple. So we'll go for this color. Color 2 is going to be similar, but a bit different to create some variety. So we'll go for a blue. Color 3 can be pink. And then color 4, I'm going to go for a dark color and we'll press OK. Then I'm just going to increase the blend. So I'm going to really increase that so we get a nice colored background there. Like this. And as well, we can animate this to change as well. So we'll go to the beginning, new keyframe on 0.1, color 1, and then all of these options here. We'll go halfway through. And we'll slightly change those colors. And then once we've changed the colors, we can also move the point. So if you select point 1, you see all 4 of these points appear. So I'm just going to move these around to different points just so that these are now moving. Then we'll copy that first set of keyframes. So highlight those. We'll go Command C on the keyboard. If you're on Mac, if you're on Windows, it is Control and C to copy. And then we'll go to the end and we're just going to go Command or Control and V. So when we play this back, you can see we've got a nice animated gradient background and we've got this screenshot animating on top. Now, from there, I'm just going to add a little bit of drop shadow onto the screenshot, just so that it separates from the background. So we'll go into Effects, search for Drop Shadow. Drop that onto the screenshot layer. And then from there, we can just increase the opacity to 100% so we can see what we're doing. We'll increase the distance so that it creates this nice separation. And you could just leave it like that if you wanted to, but I'm just going to soften this off to create more of a shadow rather than this effect. So I'm going to go into softness, pull that all the way up to a high number, so somewhere around 300. And now when we play this back, you can see that instantly looks more dynamic. If you wanted to, you could also animate the shadow to move across. So we'll go to Direction, create a new keyframe at the beginning, scroll through to the end, and we're just going to rotate that round to the other way. So it started off on the right, then it ends up on the left, almost as if a light source has changed. And you can see this is what we end up with. If you wanted to, you could also put this screenshot as a nice subtle overlay on the background. So we're going to make a copy of that screenshot. So again, Command C, Command V, drag the copy up onto 3. Then on 2, we are just going to delete scale, position. We'll delete basic 3D. So we're just going to remove that effect completely. We'll also get rid of the drop shadow. Make sure this is all centered up, and then we'll just increase the scale to a really high number. Let's go 200 in this example. And then we're just going to pull the opacity down to a really small number, so maybe 1, maybe 2, somewhere around there. And we can also play with the blend mode here if we wanted to, so we could go for a lighten. And you can see if we lighten, we'll also have to pull up the opacity. But feel free to play with these options, get that to a point that you're happy with. Then we also want to animate this so that it's not just stuck on the back. So we'll go to the very beginning, we'll pull the position down, brand new keyframe on position, go towards the end, and then we'll just pull the position up. So that is now animating up along with everything else. You can, if you wanted to, just add a little bit of blur. So if we go into effects and search for blur, we can drop a Gaussian blur onto that background, increase the blurriness, and you can see that's just giving us a little bit of texture in the background. You can see that looks pretty good. It's a much more dynamic way of animating our screenshots rather than just showing a basic screenshot on a black background. And there you go. Thank you ever so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, then please consider checking out that video just up there. See you there.